Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. What a coincidence, Prabhuji. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Just went online and Prabhuji, you have just joined. Hare Krishna. Then went. I hope everyone in the family doing well.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, you don't pronounce. Hare Hare. We'll catch it. Just gone live, so let's resume to our session. So we have been, I'm just checking, the slides being shared. I welcome everyone, even those who are on YouTube live, those who are here on Zoom, those who are going to watch it later. This is the Nectar of Instruction, which we have been doing for a while now, and hopefully today, by the grace of Lord, we will conclude. This is Updeshamrita. The original writing was from Rupa Goswamiji, the foremost, topmost leader of Shad Goswamiji of Vrindavan. So there are six Goswamiji of Vrindavan who refounded, re-established Vrindavan after the invaders. And then Srila Prabhupada ji recently, well, compared to Rupa Goswamiji, translated his Nectar of Instruction into different languages. And that's what we are working towards today. Let's do Mangala Charan and then we shall resume to our session. अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानजनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुधापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथवितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवादूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे शिला गुरुदेव महाराज की जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय 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 श्री राधे श्याम हरे कृष्ण I welcome all the devotees to today's session. सभी भक्तों का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. हम ये प्रेजेंटेशन रोकते हैं और हमारे पास में दो प्रेजेंटेशंस और हैं। आज होपफुली प्रभु की कृपा से हमारा जो फर्स्ट मंत्र है वो संपन्न हो जाएगा। नेक्टर ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन वर्स फर्स्ट की जो हम बात करते हैं, हमने देखा उसके अंदर 6 अर्जिस की बात हुई। हम ये वर्स कुछ महीनों से कर रहे हैं। आई थिंक 3-4 मंथ्स से हम नेक्टर ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन वर्स 1 की बात कर रहे हैं। हमारे एक बहुत ही वरिष्ठ सीनियर डिवोटी हैं माता जी, हिज हर ग्रेस निताई सेवनी माता जी। निताई सेवनी माता जी विशाखापट्टनम के अंदर जाके उन्होंने टेम्पल स्टेब्लिश किया। इससे पता लगता है कि कितनी गुरु की दी हुई शिक्षा के अंदर, और अगर उसके अंदर हम अपना विश्वास डालें, उसमें कितना प्रभाव होता है। जैसे शिला प्रभुपाद जी बहुत साल पहले अपने गुरु महाराज जी से मिले थे और उन्होंने शिक्षा दी थी कि आपकी इंग्लिश अच्छी है, आपको इंग्लिश देशों में जाके प्रचार करना चाहिए, भगवान का नाम बढ़ाना चाहिए। तो लेकिन तब वो खुद नए थे, तो उन्होंने खुद अपनी साधना करी और साधना करके बहुत सालों के बाद में वो नियरली 70 ईयर्स के हो गए थे, तब उन्होंने कहा अब मेरा अपना संपन्न हुआ, मैं अब इस लायक हूं कि अपने गुरु की जो आज्ञा है उसका पालन कर पाऊं। इसी तरीके से नित्य सेवनी माता जी और उनके जो हस्बैंड हैं प्रभु जी माता जी दोनों अमेरिका में थे। और वहाँ पे उनके जो गुरु महाराज जी हैं उन्होंने कहा कि आप भारतवर्ष जाएं। भारतवर्ष में विशाखापट्टनम एक जगह है, वहाँ जाके आप प्रचार करें। अब ये नहीं पता कि हमें नहीं पता कि किस वजह से ऐसा निर्देश दिया था, लेकिन माता जी गुजराती हैं, माता जी प्रभु जी, तो माता जी कहती हैं कि उनको ये नहीं पता था कि भारतवर्ष में विशाखापट्टनम है कहाँ। हैदराबाद में वो पहले थोड़ा बहुत रही थी, आई थिंक प्रभु जी की जॉब की वजह से। फिर अमेरिका में थी, तो अमेरिका में जब कोई एक परिवार के अंदर सेटल होता है, जैसे आजकल हम देखते हैं भारतवर्ष के अंदर सबका सपना ये होता है कि अमेरिका जाएं। वहां पे एक यंग प्रोफेशनल कपल को जब उनके गुरु महाराज जी ने कहा कि आप भगवान का प्रचार करने फुल डिवोटी बन जाएं और आप विशाखापट्टनम में जाके प्रचार करें, तो माता जी ने एक लेक्चर डिलीवर किया। उसके अंदर माता जी को पहले भी बहुत सुना और कई बार माता जी को रेफर किया है। माता जी, लॉन्ग स्टोरी शॉर्ट, माता जी पीएचडी हैं। माता जी ने अपनी डॉक्टरेट करी है शादी के बाद में। माता जी बहुत अच्छा विशाखापट्टनम में, माता जी प्रभु जी दोनों ही टेम्पल को जिस तरीके से उन्होंने शुरू किया, और आज की डेट में अगर आप देखें विशाखापट्टनम में, क्योंकि विशाखापट्टनम बीच साइड लगता है, तो बीच साइड बहुत जगह लेकर वहाँ पे अब उन्होंने टेम्पल का निर्धार किया है। बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल टेम्पल वहाँ पे आ रहा है। लेकिन माता जी बताती हैं कि नियरली 30 इयर्स पहले जब ये शुरू हुआ था, तब वहाँ पे कुछ नहीं था। ऑब्वियसली अब माता जी कहते हैं दिल्ली हमें पता था, हम दिल्ली वापस आए और दिल्ली से हमने टैक्सी पकड़ी और हम वहाँ पहुँच गए। वहाँ पहुँचने के बाद में जब विशाखापट्टनम पहुंचे, हमें मालूम नहीं था विशाखापट्टनम कहाँ है, वहाँ हम किसी को जानते नहीं थे। वहाँ पे जितने भी पैसे थे, शायद 20,000 रुपये का उन्होंने कुछ कहा कि उन्होंने एक कमरा लिया। और माता जी के दो बच्चे भी, जिसमें से एक अभी शायद एमबीए कर रहे हैं और दूसरे ग्रेजुएट होने वाले हैं। तो ऑब्वियसली दोनों ही इनिशिएटेड डिवोटी हैं, भक्ति में हमेशा साथ रहे हैं, लेकिन मटेरियली भी बहुत सक्सेसफुल है। माता जी यहाँ वॉटफोर्ड लंदन टेम्पल में भी आई थी, अपने बच्चे के साथ में। तो माता जी कहती हैं कि जब हम वहाँ पहुंचे तो एक कमरे से हमने शुरुआत करी। एक कमरा था, उसके अंदर हम हस्बैंड वाइफ बच्चे रुके। हमारे पास में एक कारपेट था, कुछ हमारे पास में 5,000 रुपए की कुछ बुक्स थी। जैसे प्रभुपाद जी बुक्स लेके गए थे, ऐसे हमारे पास में भगवत गीता थी कि कोई आएगा तो हम उनको देंगे। वहां से धीरे करते करते, माता जी को वहां की लैंग्वेज नहीं आती थी, माता जी ने तेलुगु सीखी। आज की डेट में माता जी बहुत सारी लैंग्वेजेस बोलती हैं और बहुत सारी लैंग्वेजेस के अंदर प्रचार करती हैं। निताई सेवनी माता जी का अगर आप यूट्यूब चैनल देखें तो कोई यूट्यूब चैनल गुजराती का है, कोई हिंदी का है, इंग्लिश का है, तेलुगु का है, आई थिंक तमिल का भी है। तो माता जी कहती हैं जब मैं लेक्चर देने बैठती हूँ तो सबसे पहली चीज़ ये मैं पूछती हूँ कि मेरे को देना कौन सी लैंग्वेज में है, मुझे आप प्लीज़ ये बताएं, क्योंकि वो मिक्स करना पसंद नहीं करती। सो ये सब होने के बाद में 30 साल के बाद में अमोघ लीला प्रभु जी जो है, जो दिल्ली में द्वारका टेम्पल में है, वो प्रभु जी अभी रिसेंटली विशाखापट्टनम गए 2026 में, और माता जी का उन्होंने इंटरव्यू लिया है। अगर आप यूट्यूब पे देखें, अमोघ लीला प्रभु जी का जो यूट्यूब चैनल है उसका नाम है रिवाइविंग वैल्यूज, आई गेस रिवाइविंग वैदिक वैल्यूज या रिवाइविंग वैल्यूज, कि हमारे जो सनातन धर्म की खोई हुई वैल्यूज हैं उसको दोबारा से रिवाइव करें, और यूथ के अंदर बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं प्रभु जी। तो प्रभु जी स्पेशली विशाखापट्टनम गए और माता जी का उन्होंने इंटरव्यू लिया, तो वो इंटरव्यू यूट्यूब पे है अगर आप देखना चाहें। जो माता जी ने बताया बहुत सारी चीज़ों के बाद में, और फिर उसके बाद में माता जी के और भी बहुत सारे लेक्चर्स हैं। माता जी ने कहा कि क्यों हम ये स्टोरी को डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, कि माता जी ने कहा, माता जी से एक प्रश्न पूछा अमोघ लीला प्रभु जी ने, कि कोई एक चीज अगर भक्तों को ध्यान रखनी चाहिए, तो ऐसे बहुत सारे रैपिड फायर तरीके से क्वेश्चन पूछे एंड में। तो उसमें से एक क्वेश्चन का उत्तर जो माता जी ने दिया वो था कि कोई तो रीजन रहा होगा कि रूप गोस्वामी जी ने जब साधकों डिवोटीज के लिए, जो साधक डिवोटीज हैं उनके लिए जब इंस्ट्रक्शन दिए, उपदेश दिए, उपदेशामृत नेक्टर ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन जब दिए, तो सबसे पहले वर्स के अंदर सबसे पहली जो चीज कही वो कही, 6 अर्जिस के अंदर आपको द वेरी फर्स्ट अर्ज विच यू नीड टू फॉलो इज वाचो वेगम. So this is what Nitai Sevni Mataji said. The very first verse and very first urge in the very first verse, there must be a reason why Rupa Goswami ji said it. And then further she explained that if devotees take care of Vacho Vegam, rest of the things will follow automatically. Of course, you need to be in association. So one of the question was that when you go to the temple, what's the main thing you look for, or what the others should look for? What the feeling of being in the temple? What is that feeling? So the answer was loving exchange. And when we will see nectar of instruction later, nectar of devotion later, we will see loving exchange between. There are 6 exchanges which devotees do among themselves. So we will see what are those 6. And loving exchanges are one of those things. So Mataji said that when you go to the temple, of course, you can go to the temple, you can go to the dham, you can go to the guru, but loving exchange between you and other devotees, that's the main thing which make that yatra successful. So if you go to from Delhi to Vrindavan or maybe Haridwar, a lot of people go, they take the dip in Ganges, in Ganga, and come back. But there is no loving exchange between devotees. Didn't visit any sadhu, didn't visit any temple, didn't meet anybody. Another great, I forgot the name of Prabhuji. Prabhuji is amazing. I will try to find the name. Prabhuji's his father is Russian. Prabhuji's Mataji is Ukrainian. And recent interview, Prabhuji said, "See, my mother and father, they are both are fighting." And beautifully, Prabhuji got her mother from Ukraine because where they were, the fight was happening. He got her mother from there to Vrindavan, and he shared. He speaks a lot of different languages, and Hindi, the Sanskrit shlokas, amazing, amazing. What somebody who was born as a Catholic. in a foreign country and came to India and learned. And not only in India, went to Nepal, again the same thing to Prachar. And then he learned Nepali language and he did such a great service in Nepal that Nepalian government, so the president or the prime minister awarded him the equivalent of the biggest award in India. So I think Bharat Ratna, maybe I could be wrong, but if the Bharat Ratna is the topmost award in India, something similar they have in Nepal, and this Prabhuji got it. Why? Because for years he has been serving in Nepal. One of a beautiful thing Prabhuji said, a lot of great things, but one of those things, he said, I don't when we go to the because he fly a lot from one place to another. He's part of also UN, and when you meet him, you wouldn't think he's such a big false headed person that he's getting invited to all the different places. He got so many awards, but what he said a lot of people, and I would say myself as well, people travel to places, right? Either we go for holidays, we go for work, we go to places. He said, I have been to this movement for that long. Now I don't fly to places, I fly to people. Because whichever country I go to, I know someone there and I'm going to meet that person. So the excitement is not for the place, excitement is to meet the people. And this is the glory of Srila Prabhupada ji, who gave us such a beautiful family. Almost anywhere on the planet where you travel, you will able to find a family member, uh, god brother, god sister. And then what happens? Loving exchange between you two. And why and how that's possible when we start working on these six urges. So another question on to Nitai Sevni Mataji was that it was on the devotee. So Mataji gives a lot more. So one thing, if you could improve, one thing you would love to speak about, and Mataji, without hesitation, Mataji said, devotee etiquettes, Vaishnav etiquette, Vaishnav sadachar, how devotees should interact with each other. But again, before we would know how to interact and we will able to reach to that level to interact, we need to have, of course, we all are work in progress, but we need to start working on these things. These six urges should be in control. Hence, we have been spending like last 4 months on just one verse of Nectar of Instruction. And probably the very first one is, Samataji said that one thing we all should do is, and actually coincidentally, the Prabhuji also said it in a complete different podcast, which was Shravanam. One thing which you love in and which could keep you going is Shravanam. One thing which could so we have A B C D of Hare Krishna movement, but Prabhuji gave his own A B C D. But the main thing he said was Shravanam. So keep listening. Like I just shared the examples. Yesterday was Ekadashi. Ekadashi in Hindi we call Upavas. So of course, most of the time Ekadashi we call fasting, but the whole idea is to be near to the Lord. And if physically we can't go, we can hear a lot. And fortunately enough, yesterday I didn't travel anywhere. So these two lectures I mentioned, I heard a lot more as well. But these two, and I would love to share those. Otherwise, as I said, the very first one with Amol Leela Prabhuji interviewing Nitai Sevni Mataji, and I think it's on YouTube channel Reviving Values. But I'm sure if you just put those two names there, you will able to get it. It's in 2026, so recent interview. And with Prabhuji, I'm not sure how old that is, but it shouldn't be very old because Prabhuji was discussing the war between Ukraine and of course Ukraine and been going for a few years now, unfortunately. But it's amazing how pleasant Prabhuji is. That, but it all starts with when you have subsided your urges. Hence, we are here. So there, in this slide, we only have four, five. Sorry, in this presentation, we only have four, five slides left. Then there is another presentation as well, but this is one and that's two. Um, it's more or less a lot more pictures in this and a lot more text in it. So whatever is there, we have already covered in this. What's the difference? A lot of time, or what preachers do, like His Grace Radhesham Prabhuji and many other preachers I've noticed, that which is a great thing, and I would expect, like it's been expected from us as well when we do the courses. Then the whole idea is that everyone who is attending the course would become a preacher. So Srila Prabhupada was a student, later he became the preacher. His disciples, he said, all my disciples needs to be preachers. And when we did the courses, we were supposed to, and if we have people here, I would expect everyone to be the preacher. Reason being, whenever you speak, and we will speak to the people, it's not that. So we give the example of dieting. If you can go and you can bang on the door of the people like a lot of missionaries do. Oh, well, could you follow this? Could you follow that? And interesting enough, I was discussing with my wife yesterday. I was listening to a kirtan with Radhika Das Prabhuji. Amazing kirtan, yeah. And fortunately enough, I've been lucky enough to hear live from Prabhuji, like Janvi Mataji does it, and they do it together as well. And Prabhuji, I think he got like 500,000 followers. Um, I think he should have a lot more what he has been doing. If you hear, I was listening to his. Well, one of the recent one, I think, a kirtan, beautiful, gorgeous kirtan. You're doing whatever. You could have that kirtan in the background and so soothing. But in the middle, what happened? Advertisement came. And advertisement came from a missionary, from a Christian missionaries. And I found it so intriguing that Christian missionaries paying to YouTube to run the advertisement to the Hindu Kirtan, that whoever is going to listen to that Hindu Kirtan obviously is a bit more spiritual. I'm thinking how the background logic would work, that who's going to be interested in this Hare Krishna Kirtan might be a bit more spiritual and might be looking, might be exploring different paths. Hence, could be a candidate of that Christian missionary. And I know them well, like because I have that book that in Christianity there are many different books, and I know that book. We have it, and I think 6 weeks back, 6 weeks back, when I went to Central London, I met two of those missionaries, and they were overseas missionaries. I have a deep respect for them. One was from China, and one was from France, I think, and they both were very young, finished school, and haven't started the university, and they are here traveling. Two girls, deep respect the faith they have in their own religion. Even though I said to them humbly that I'm not your perfect candidate, it's too far for me. But what they are doing is great. The world needs the religion. So, like somebody said that if rather than having no religion, it's good to have a religion. However, of course, that's a contradicting if you get into the wrong hands. But I think generalizing that might be right, because most of the religions you think about give you the moral values. So coming back to that these six urges, and the very first one, how we speak, is so important. And vacho vegam mansaha krodha vegam. So we have discussed the vacho, we have discussed the krodha. Today we are going to krodha is of course been very well mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. And again, giving the example of this Prabhuji, Prabhuji said that I was Christian, and of course I read a lot about Jesus, and he said When Jesus was dying, he was praying that, "Oh Father, don't punish these people who are hurting me because they don't know what they are doing." And it's such a beautiful message from Jesus Christ. But then Prabhuji said that I always used to think, who is the Father he's praying to? And I used to ask, but no one could answer me, he said. Then he said, when I read Srila Prabhupadaji's Bhagavad Gita, then I understood that Krishna is saying, and then he is reciting the from Bhagavad Gita, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, from Bhagavatam, the verses he has been reciting, amazing, amazing. And then he said that from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, I'm the father, Aham Bija Pitama. I am the one from whom the seeds come around. As we always say, we are part and parcel of Krishna. Hame Vamsho Jiva Loka. Vamsha Jiva, Jiva Loka. The whole, in the living entity, we are the Jiva and we are the Ansha. So this comes from Bhagavad Gita. He said, when I read Bhagavad Gita from Srila Prabhupada, then I found out that, wow, amazing. This is the Father Jesus Christ I was praying to. So I'm on a right track now. Hence, a very, very cherishable interview that was indeed. Again, coming back to the urges. So today we have discussed the Bhagavad Gita concept on anger, that it's not the anger management we are looking for, what most of the corporates look for, but we are looking for the complete eradication of anger. If we follow what Bhagavad Gita says, the contemplation, we would not have that thought which become the seed to get angry. We've been discussing all that. So we have discussed these things. Urge to speak, the demand of the mind, raga, dvesha, attachment and anger, tongue, belly and genital. So today we will focus more on the mind, which is manso vega. Three urges, life become inauspicious. Srimad Bhagavatam, we heard what tapasvi is. We did discuss that, and this was another point, was discussed one of those podcasts I watched and I heard and listened, where it says that Krishna says to Arjun, two things, which is it's like a tapasya. You will able to control your mind. Arjun says, I can't. I can control the air. I can't control the mind. And then said that abhyasa, you do the practice, but at the same time you have the patience. So these two things, when you do these two things, this is what becomes your tapasya. Of course, yesterday Ekadashi was a tapasya as well, but this is the tapasya which is every day. So all these urges, when they are troubling us, every moment when we are trying to figure them out, that's our tapasya. That's what we are looking forward for. So one can overcome the victimization of material energy. So we will not become victim of material energy. It says if you are only when you are not very able, somebody will able to make you the victim. So make yourself. So we say for our kids, our daughters, or if you have a business, you become cyber attacks are going on. Make your business online system cyber proof, cyber attack proof. So you will not be a victim. So what we can do, not that, oh, we are in a material world, it's a dukhalyam. Of course it is. It's shashvatam, ashashvatam, duk alayam. But we need to think about it. We need to think that what we could do so we will not become the victims. And this has been explained here. We did discuss this very briefly, that what is the problem? We need to control the mind. We have seen these examples number of times before. In real time, we discussed what happened with, well, Gautam Buddha was another example. Many places. Haridas Thakur ji, who was a great disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ji, considered as Naam Acharya. Nobody has ever able to take the name. So we say in Kali there is only one uh, Kaleshwar. There is only one solution in Kali, which is Nama. Mm, Nama, 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 Adhara. Nothing else is there. and that is to take the name of the Lord. And this is what Haridas Thakurji used to do, even though he wasn't born in the Hindu family, but he was initiated as a disciple by Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. And because it wasn't a convert in Hinduism, but because he was following, he was reciting Mahamantra, his own religious people considered him, they have a name for it, considered him like boycotted him. And they did a lot of different things to him. And of course, at the end, because it was a Muslim empire at that time, he was beaten to death. And just like Jesus Christ, we take the example, just like Gautam Buddha, he also forgave everyone who tortured him. It says the people who were torturing him, and this is only 500 years back, not like 200, 2,500 years back, like Gautam Buddha, or even further. For others, we see, like the example we see where Nectar came and Vishwamitraji was there doing the meditation. So these are the examples given in Bhagavatam. But these are real lifetime examples with her. And one of the female was sent to them as well. Gautam Buddha got it, and Haridas Thakurji was sent it. But whoever came in touch, it's such a beautiful thing that the examples are so different, but they both were very spiritual. And whoever came, so like a prostitute came with a mission, but spent some time, like Haridas Thakurji said that Haridas Thakurji said to that, oh, well, yes. She said, oh, I want you to satisfy my needs, my bodily needs. And he said that I'm busy at the moment. Would you mind waiting? And it says that initially she went away, then she came back next day, and he was still chanting. And he said, and this is what he used to do with everyone. Whoever used to come without knowing what the person is asking for, he would never turn anyone back like what devotees do, but say, let me finish my chant, and then I will able to serve you whatever you want. And then, of course, either you come back or this time she stayed and she's just listening and listening and she's just listening. And there is a reason Haridas Thakurji is named as Namacharya. Namacharya, Acharya of the Nam, the name, what he used to do, how he used to take the conviction he had it. It says that after she was there, she stayed there. She didn't go home. She was just there and she's just watching. He doesn't do anything else, right? And then, as we can expect, after a while, she has become a disciple. She started chanting the name. And then those who sent her, they were surprised at what's happening. What's happening? Hence, they had to go to the even. So this was a subtle move to distract someone, and this happened again number of times. Like Indra used to do it with anyone. Like Dhruv Maharaj started crying, or many other examples are there in Bhagavatam. Anybody will start doing the meditation for any reason. Indra would think, oh, well, because the humans usually look towards the heavens. So they say, oh, well, they are going to come to me. They will take their heaven. They want to become the next Indra. And they will send one of the abode of well, one of the apsara from heavens to distract the person. So this is probably one of the norm to distract someone who is doing in the meditation. But how these devotees, they don't fall down. And there are other example, like example of Saurabhi in Bhagavatam, who did the meditation underwater for so long. But he was just doing the meditation, not taking the name of the Lord. He was kind of what we say in Ashtanga Yoga. Then you go further. You at the end of Ashtanga, 8 limbs. The last one is Samadhi, and he was probably in that Samadhi. What he was doing, and his meditation broke down within the water, and then he came out. He saw a couple of fishes. It says he saw them in the intimate movements. The fishes, not even the human bodies, and his years of meditation got disturbed. He came out, he went to the current king and he said, I want to marry your daughter. Years of meditation gone in one go. Why? Because the mind was not submissive. So this is what happens in devotees. And what Srila Prabhupada has given, Srila Prabhupada always said that it's not only that you control your mind, you engage your mind, but at the same time, you don't even have time for anything else. Like Haridas Thakurji didn't have time for anything else. So your mind is like another senior Vaishnav gave the example in one of the lectures. Our mind is like we give the example for kids a lot of times that their mind is like a sponge. They absorb it very quickly. But if you think about it, if all of our minds are like sponge. But of course, older we grow, our sponge starts getting filled up. Kids, they have their full, fresh sponge, so that it can absorb a lot. But as we start growing up, we have this, so much different things that we cannot absorb anymore. Hence, our absorbability goes down. But what happens if we keep this spring mind active, right? Then what happens? Still, we can absorb now, but now we make the decision with what quality of the content we would like to absorb. What do we want to absorb? Do we want to absorb in Bollywood songs, Hollywood movies, cricket, football? Again, it's great to watch, so we are aware, but at the same time, when we want to absorb, then it needs to be Krishna Katha, what we hear. Like if you're orange, somebody press you, orange juice will come out. And how do we know? Like we took the example last time, somebody will do the prayer, let's say even half. Srila Prabhupadaji's guru used to say that divide your 24 hours into 8, 8, 8. Right? So 8 hours sleep, 8 hours for material, at least minimum 8 hours in the day for your spiritual, right? So 8 hours for your bodily needs, whether you work or whatever you would like to do. 8 hours sleep is very important, he said. And then 8 hours spiritual you have easily available. And then it's only 2 hours chanting. Then you can read a lot, you can listen a lot, you can do a lot of different things. So in that respect, we think if we don't have the diversion, it's much easier to follow all these things. But then that sponge needs to be there. Then if we absorb with Krishna Katha, then when material life will come, we don't have space for it. We don't. Even if we liked it. And this happens. If a material person meets the devotee, what happens? Devotee, the person who is not devotee will discuss what? We'll discuss the politics, we'll discuss the economy, we'll discuss the new budget, we'll discuss what's happened in the world regarding the fighting and all, the wars going on. What devotee will reply back? What devotee has been absorbing? Well, what could be the solution? And Srila Prabhupada been giving all those solutions. So more we will listen, Shravanam, more we become part of the association, we get absorbed in Krishna Katha. And all the solutions they came from there. There isn't anything else we come. Again, one of the example from one of the Prabhujis who said, I went to Badrinath, Badrinathji's darshan, he went, and he was there with the priest, and priest told him, "Oh, there is some Baba who live like a half a kilometer up." And then he said, "Okay, I will go and meet him." And even though it was half a kilometer, but it was very up, and there wasn't a proper road. So Prabhuji said that it took me almost the whole day to reach there. By the time I reached there, it was night. But there was a sadhu sitting in the cave, didn't have anything on his cloth, and he again a bit of interaction happened. But at the end, Prabhuji asked that you've been practicing for how long? The Prabhuji said that, well, the sage said that around 30 years now, roughly. And they said, well, 30 years you've been practicing. I'm not as strong as you. I cannot stay here. I have to go back. Well, could you give me the essence of your 30 years in 30 seconds? So I will get the benefit of it. And there's a picture of it, well, I think animated, based on what Prabhuji described, that this sage had a deity there, and the deity was of Kartikeji. In South India, Kartikeji is very famous, a brother of Lord Ganesha, and of course the son of Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati ji. So Kartikeji's statue, deity was there, and that deity of Kartikeji was holding a statue, and that statue was of Krishna. And he said, the sage said that you take the name of the Lord, that's it, and nothing else. So Prabhuji said, I take the name of Lord in terms of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then he recited Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then he said, the sage said, you got it. This is why it is. And Prabhuji came back very happily and he said, well, what the sage got it for 30 years, I say thank you to him that he confirmed that what Srila Prabhupada ji gave me through his books in the comfort environment, that these sages, they had to work hard for 30 years to reach to the same conclusion. But it's a very coinciding thing that people reach there, people get this. And how this happens, when we control our mind, it helps a lot to do whatever we would like to do. And this is what we need to think about. So we have already mentioned probably all the things here, that problem of the mind, restlessness, fickle, moving from one thing to another, cannot negate thoughts and create vacuum. So we cannot say, oh, we don't want to have any thoughts. Senses are there, so the sense objects will be there. Now, those people who go up there on the mountain, they are running away from the sense objects. There will not be any sense objects there. No TV adverts, no boardings. Nobody will talk about football, cricket, Bollywood, Hollywood. So sense objects are gone. Senses are there. But then what's the point of living there? Because if you want to serve someone, you got to come back. So, however, a lot of like the Prime Minister of India and Sarvapriyanandaji, who follows their Srila Prabhupada ji to some extent, said to himself as well. Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj ji mentioned it in a great depth in his book Journey Home, and Maharaj ji got the second book as well now. So a lot of devotees, sometimes they have also practiced that. They gone there, they learned it, but then at the end they came back, and then they can confirm nobody needs to go there. You could do all that what you do there, you could do it here as well. That you will not able to create the vacuum. You got to work here. It's a gradual process, exactly what Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita. That is a gradual process. With practice, you can do it. Until you do it, you need to do the practice, abhyasam, but at the same time, you need to have the patience, you need to tolerate. With these two things going hand in hand, you will able to achieve. Going away, you will not able to do it, because we cannot create the vacuum. Idle mind, we cannot. In India, I used to hear in childhood that khali dimag shaitan ka dimag. The empty mind is a devil's workshop. If you don't have anything going on, especially what we say for the kids and the teenagers, engage them. If you won't engage them, the energy they have, they will go out and they will engage themselves, which might not be very fruitful, because the kind of things they would like to do, especially if you think of the boys, might be stereotype here, but boys, they would like to do things hands-on, right? And probably that's why they like to play the video games. But if these people, they would like to go out and play, it will be much easier. So if one thinks of Krishna, so yogic processes we have said to negate mind will never work. It can work temporary. It can. Meditation is always helpful. We do the chanting meditation, which is equally benefit and even more, because in Kali we need to take the name of the Lord. But at the same time, when we sit and take the name of the Lord in terms of Mahamantra, it is that meditation, because you are taking the name of the Lord. Somebody said that my mind moves away. Prabhupada said, where the mind comes from. You are, from your tongue, you're reciting the Lord's name, and then from your ears, you are listening that. Mind is not there in between. But of course, if we are not listening, mind goes away. If you are listening, the mind is there on the name. And that is one thing we need to do. Probably the best thing to purify the consciousness is to do the meditation properly. And in our movement, the meditation is the chanting meditation, which we do every morning, and of course could do anytime. So today I'm going to drive for 2 hours, can chant there. Either the recording is there, or you can chant yourself. It's amazing. Of course, while driving, you don't really need to have the beat back in your hand. You can have the button. Yesterday, I also felt blessed to hear Amrendra Prabhuji, and Amrendra Prabhuji had that a small speaker. I also have a small speaker, must be downstairs. That if you need your two hands or you're walking, walking, you can have your mala, but sometimes if you don't want to, then the clicker is there. And the clicker counts how many. So it's always, it could become mechanical, but the idea is to keep the focus going. If one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, the mind will automatically be controlled. That one thing, it does the job. So, Mansavega, mind's demands, urges. Remember, we are doing the six urges: Vacho Vegam, Mansaha, Krodha Vegam, Jiva, Udar Upastha Vegam. So, that's it. It's this is of course there. It says text one, purport five. What Srila Prabhupada ji has given as the solution to control. This is again repeating the same thing, right? The first part, but if you see Krishna Surya Sama, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of being agitated by Maya's influence. So Krishna says, Maya in Bhagavad Gita, Maya is my servant. Maya is my servant. They will not disturb the devotees. But the condition is that we need to be practicing devotee. Devotee is not like an achievement or an award. You become the initiated, you are initiated. Devotee is not you pass the exam, you got the certificate. It's a practicing. So somebody said, I think Gaurang Prabhuji said that whether you're new or you've been in the movement for 40 years, it's the same Mahamantra. 16, of course, gradually it comes 16, but once you got the, so when we do the recite, the initiation, we promise the Guru Maharaj that we will take the 16 rounds every day. But that's it. It's even Guru Maharaj himself will follow that. And and then going forward, for how long you will do that? For rest of your life. It's not that, oh, after 10 years, it's okay. I've heard the danda, the sannyas danda. I think after 10 years, the sannyas danda goes away. I'm not sure, but because I could have misunderstood, but His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj ji said it. Because somebody said that, why do you have it? He said, because I'm a sannyasi now. And then said, why the previous sannyasi visited, he didn't have it. I said, because it's been over 10 years. So you're supposed to keep it for 10 years. So my understanding from that is that after 10, so the condition is for 10 years you have it. After 10 years, it's optional. You can or you can't have it. But I've of course seen a lot of and, Maharaji, His Holiness, like I'm thinking of BB Govinda Maharaji. He doesn't keep it with him. A lot of them, they don't have it, but of course, because they've been much, much more than like Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj, 50 years sannyasa. Obviously, Guru Maharaji, His Holiness Jayapataka Swamiji Guru Maharaji, been there more than 50 years. And Guru Maharaji also travels, I'm thinking. Of course, when you meet, the whole focus is on the personality whom you meet and what they the kind of instruction they give you, rather than on their denda. But denda is one of those things which could go away after a while. But chanting the mantra always remains with you. Right? Always, always remains with you. So the idea is, if you have that, then the Maya will be away with you. It's like, oh, you need to brush your teeth twice in a day at least. For how long? I remember I visited the doctor once for something. There wasn't anything. But doctor said, if you want to take vitamin D. I said, for how long? And that was winter, and it's getting better now. So, then the doctor said, for rest of your life, as long as you will live in this country. If you move to a different country, then okay. But as long as you live in this country, take vitamin D. And a lot of people they do. Even I've heard even in Middle East, people have started doing it. Our dear Avinash Prabhuji didn't come, otherwise he could confirm. I think he was the one who mentioned it to me once. The reason is if you go to Middle East, the sun is out there, but you don't go out in the sun. You stay inside in the air condition. Think of this. So we might be thinking, oh, Middle East is so great, which of course to a great respect it is. But sun is out there, but you don't go out in the sun. Hence, you become deficient of vitamin D. Here, sun doesn't come out, so we become, and this is the Maya. Whichever way you think, you got to take. So the doctors advise either him or his friends to do it. And he wouldn't mind me sharing that. He's very honest and direct, especially if it's helping someone else. So the idea is that Maya will attack. We need to protect ourselves so we won't become victim of it. And how do we do it? The practice is given. The very simple thing is, if possible, take the association of the devotees. Of course, the very first thing is to figure out whose association and then make all your effort to maintain that association. Probably in parallel, the other thing, which of course I believe anyone could do, is Shravanam on YouTube, on ISKCON Desire Tree, and many other platforms these days. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. So I couldn't do the Kirtan, I couldn't be part of the Kirtan, but I was listening to the Kirtan. And it's one of those things usually kids wake up early in the morning, either Mangla Aarti, Guru Puja Aarti, or otherwise the Mahamantra is going on. So they're always there, they are going on. So if we have this in the family, and I might have shared that both my kids were born here in UK, they don't really speak, well, I will say at all in Hindi, but of course they can understand Hindi. But my son was reciting Guru Puja. He's 16 plus. So the only reason he was reciting because I went to wake him up, and it was must have been weekend. So 7 o'clock the aarti started. I had already done aarti downstairs. I had the laptop. Guru Puja 7 o'clock started. I went to wake him up with the laptop there on his room. I came back few minutes later. He was reciting with the mantra. What the devotees were doing it. So just the association. If you cannot go out like Jagannath Puri ji, why the all forms of Jagannath, all forms of Krishna, Jagannath Puri, Jai Jagannath, why being considered the most merciful form of the Lord? That those who cannot go to the temple, the Yatratra happens, the deities come out to give the darshan. Imagine that. And when deities come out, deities don't see, oh, I'm going to give the darshan only to Hindus or only to the Hare Krishna movement followers. No, to everyone. And think about it. This is what the nature does. When the rain falls, when the sun comes out, when the Mother Earth gives away. There is no, and this is what devotees are. Like the example in Bhagavad Gita, the dog eater, the Brahmin, the elephant, and the dog himself. The, the who are sthit pragya, they don't take, but who are sthit pragya? Those who have controlled their mind. That to discriminate others, not that you need to control it, you need to manage it. The seed will just disappear. But it will only happen when we absorb our mind with Krishna Katha. And then well, if you think about it, this will be happening automatically. Now, of course, what we're doing here is, so I'm just going to stop this. I very briefly share the other as well, so we know where we are with it. And I think it's fair to say that today we have finished. If anyone has any question, then or any discussion point or anything what we have said so far or from Nectar of Instruction what we have been discussing. Krishna willing, we will start Nectar of Instruction Verse 2. And Vacho Vegam, Mansaha, Krodha Vegam. If we take care of these things, Hare Krishna, then the Jiva Vegam, Nirupasta Vegam. Does the clicker chanting towards the 16 rounds only to Tulsi Mala? Do you have chanting? I will the clicker each time. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So Mataji has put some thoughts there in the chat that the so when we click, does the clicker chanting count towards the 16 rounds or only on the Tulsi Mala? The I know Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj explicitly says when I have watched at least 3 times I remember, and I was blessed enough. We went to Italy, and from Rome, I did the drive to not Valencia. Valencia is in oh, I forgot. There's a place from Vive in Italy, beautiful place, and a beautiful temple there. And as a family, we were blessed that we had the darshan of Maharaji, which we did in London as well. But Maharaji was initiating there. Some recordings are also there. I've also seen the recordings of Maharaji. When Maharaji gives the initiation, Maharaji explicitly says, and now because Maharaji asked for it, I've seen a lot of devotees when they are taking the initiation, they say, because when we take the initiation, we say, I promise to do the 16 rounds, I promise to follow the regulative principles, and so on. So when mm, the devotees they ask for it, they say, I promise to do the 16 rounds on beats. On beats. They have started adding it because Radhana Swamiji Maharaj Ji in initiation asked for it. Once or twice I have noticed. Once in person and later on in London in Watford Temple it happened. Now latest devotees did it. Probably because the whole office is there, the committee is there who help devotees to get there. They must have instructed them to do it. So what I will say that 16 rounds we should do on the mala. If the priority is there, we can do it. We should do 16 rounds on the beat bag on the mala. Clicker only when it's not possible. And why sometimes it's not possible? Maybe when we are traveling and we cannot take, like I have my Guru Maharaj's beads, which Guru Maharaj has given me. I don't like to take that out of the house. I like to keep it in the house. If you're going somewhere, so if I'm going to relocate somewhere, I will take it with me, but I will still keep it in the house. But if I'm going out there in the morning, then I will take the bead bag, but I will take the other bead bag. So I have two bead bags there. But some places, if I'm traveling in trains, I might not, and I've been in Middle East as well. So some places, people said it's not safe to wear the kanti or have the bead bag. Then the clicker is the solution. Very first time, somebody many years back when I was in Dubai, a couple from Eastern Europe, Prabhuji and Mataji, they relocated to Mayapur and I met them in Dubai. And they said to me that when they came in Dubai, they thought that Dubai is a Muslim country and people might say something. So they left their bead bag there and they got the clicker and they were on the clicker all the time. So these are kind of exceptions. If we can do, we do on the bead bag. Otherwise, sometimes, for example, driving. So I'm going to drive 2 hours and obviously extra, whatever I could do, I will either listening or I will be chanting and it's very easy on the clicker, of course. So, do you have to chant the mantra 108 times on the clicker each time? It's yes, Mataji. It's sometimes so again, sorry, the time is up. I will just finish on this. A lot of devotees, what they do, and I've seen many different examples. So we go the whole 108 times and then we restart. And the restart is you go back. So my mala is downstairs in the altar. But you restart, and when you restart the second round or the next round, then you recite. So rather than just starting again, we either take the. So I always take Guru Maharaj Ji, my own Guru Maharaj Ji, Srila Prabhupada Ji, and the Shad Goswami mantra. So the three mantra before go to the next one. This is one thing. Different devotees, they do it differently, whichever feel comfortable. I think it's always good to have something in between rather than just continuing it, if you can do it. Even on clicker, sometime, of course, you don't know, but whenever you realize or you have finished enough for one mala, then it's better to take the mantra and then you continue where you have left it. It's very flexible in that term. But of course, if you could follow, we could really follow. So thank you for that beautiful question, Mataji. Chanting is if we those who like to do it more and more, please take up it's beautiful. It purifies probably the fastest compared to anything else. My Denver pronouns to everyone with that. Srila Prabhupada ki
जी की जय, जय
Jai
जय गुरु
Maharaj
महाराज की
Jai Jai
जय।
Shri Ram. Hare Krishna.
कृष्ण।
Thank you everyone.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna. Denver
हरे
pranam.
कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Look forward to see you next Saturday, and we will
थैंक
start
यू।
the second section, please. Hare Krishna. Dhanwas to everyone.
हरि बोल।
Then pranam. Mataji. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna.